Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we ended up wrapping up the Tide of Blood storyline. I just talked to Caius and Captain Winter offline, or off screen, and it just wraps it up. So we're finally done with that. And I'm feeling a Void Crusade. I don't know what I want to do. I mean, we have enough for an Ivory one, so we could just go with that. Should we? It's a little early, relatively, to be running Void Crusades. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? I'm in the mood. Now I have to actually find my map. Empyrean key collected. Ooh. Okay, I got my map ready. Let's hope this doesn't screw me over. It probably will. Alright, so first mission is this one, it looks like. We'll do the usual of trying to boost our champion spawns for the moment. Reflect heat damage. Okay, so we're gonna have to flip that. That's fine. That's doable. Oh yeah, I'm used to having a little thing pop up. Threw me off for a second. But I saw recent gaming news. Sony's looking to do more acquisitions, and if you're anything like me, you're just sitting here just going, please, God, stop. It's so goofy, it's only, Tencent is expanding their investment, but they're not outright buying anyone. But Sony and Microsoft just keep buying studios. It's just like, please stop this. This is getting really stupid. Especially because you look at like Nintendo. Nintendo is just like, yeah, we don't do that. Admittedly, Nintendo has their own blunders and more or less holds their own community in contempt half the time, but seeing how some of the Nintendo fans are, I don't entirely blame them. But I guess at the same time, Nintendo doesn't have to really worry because they have their own studios that do their own stuff. Like, you have Game Freak. They exist just to make Pokemon. You have... I don't even know the team at this point behind, like, Smash, but you have them, you have the guys who do Legend of Zelda and all this stuff. They don't really need to buy anybody because they have their own roster of games, while Sony and Microsoft just keep dumping their old roster, being like, no, we need to get rid of that and try a new thing, when you have existing fans, and it's stupid. Oh yeah, I have to switch off that gun. God, this single shot is just slow. I mean, this full auto isn't the greatest for damage, but it's putting stacks on, and that's all that really matters. But yeah, it's weird. Or like, I've seen people talk about like net ease and all this stuff. And that it was something I thought was really interesting. Because companies like NetEase have a lot of market share. Surprisingly, them... I just said the other one. Why can't I think of it at the moment? The other, like, Chinese companies. But it's always kind of the question, well, why don't they make a big dent in the Western market? And I think the big thing is because they're Chinese, not in a form of, like, because of race, but because people know the business model. It's the same argument you can make with, like, Korean companies. Why aren't there really a ton of money being made by Korean companies in the West? Because they build around this very specific style of a lot of microtransactions, extreme grind, stuff that the West is like, nah, we grew out of that, this stuff sucks. But they don't get as much pushback where they're from, so it's allowed. But in the case of, like, the Chinese companies, it's mostly because people are afraid everything's spyware. Which, recently, I think it was, like, Temu, their Chinese equivalent... God, what is it? Pinduoduo, I think? I can't remember it. The name evades me. I know it's something duo. Because it's like D-U-O or D-O-U. I think it's D-U-O, D-U-O. But the issue was they were exploiting certain high-level security flaws in, like, Android phones to make it so you had to really struggle to delete them. And stuff like that, and that makes people naturally very hesitant, because why would you support a company that could potentially be doing that to you? You shouldn't have to rely on such underhanded tactics if you provide a good service. But yeah, it's weird. Starting to think I might need that one perk that moves like 15% of the incoming damage to my summons. At least this is a good start for this Void Crusade. It's been going pretty well. I want to hit that shrine, but I don't want it to summon another Revenant. Ooh, orange inoculator. Oh, yep, called it. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed the Warframe videos. It was nice that that update came out because it kind of got me back into playing it again, and it's fun. I always kind of miss Warframe when I get back into it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I have over 2,000 hours in this game. Which is kind of funny, like, that game has held me better than, like, Destiny. Which I had to laugh. There was a bug recently in Destiny that people were abusing where you could swap a shotgun in at a certain point. I don't know how people did it because I didn't care to follow up on it. But you could swap like an assault rifle with a shotgun and get increased fire rates. And I'm just sitting here going, how does this crap exist? And Bungie's solution was to make it so when you switch weapons, there's like a 3-second delay before you can fire. And not like swap, like hit triangle to swap what's in your hands, but to swap your inventory. And I just found it really amusing that that's their workaround. It's just like, yeah, just put a delay in. Okay, none of that looked good. But we will check this. I lose quantity, but HP regen for every vulnerability stack. That's good. We'll take it. Yeah, it means we lose loot quantity, that sucks. But I think... right now, I think a little bit more survivability is useful. I'm getting a little scared when it comes to some of these incoming hits, so I'd rather just... 116? HP on kill? Okay, we'll move that over here. Actually, since we're sitting here, I'm gonna just mulch all my blues and greens again. What's the notification? Oh, Cabal reward. Stun grenade, not gonna use that. Well, we'll look at it just for the sake of looking. Yeah, that kinda sucks. Fear in focus state. I have to preface it every time. It can be good if you build for it. I just don't build for it. Oh no, warp resist. Oh, apparently, this is a rumor I heard, that Disney, when they bought, like, 20th Century Fox, there was a season of, like, an animated Alien vs. Predator show. I don't know if it was, like, anime or just Western animation, but if that's true, I'm so annoyed. Especially because Disney's sitting here like, oh man, we don't have anything, we're running out of money, we're desperate. It's like, my guy, stuff like that would sell and get you money. People would watch that. I would love for some Alien and Predator stuff that doesn't blow, because Shane Black's Predator movie was god-awful. I know he was in the original Predator. I don't care. The writing was terrible. It felt like something that was made out of spite.
Remarkable. The soul
Give me something good. Okay, it was crafting materials and credits. I'll accept it. Not the greatest, but if you remember a while back, I blew gratuitous amounts of credits on a few upgrades that I shouldn't have done. So, at least, should I be dumb enough to do it again, probably will, I can make a little bit of money in the meantime. Oh, I also just remembered, the Galactic Star Cruiser, that whole Star Wars resort thing, that is shutting down September 30th. Gotta agree with a lot of people. It's amazing how higher-ups at Disney didn't realize, hey, $6,000 for 2 nights is a little steep. And I know I had said this before, because I remember when I first found out about this, I sat down, went to, like... God, this was like December, January I found this out. And I had looked... I don't remember if it was this year or last year, whenever, but I sat down, looked on, like, Carnival Cruise and all this stuff, and I looked for some of, like, some expensive rooms, but not, like, top-of-the-line rooms. And the longest trips, I looked on the biggest ships, and you could get, like, 2 to almost 3 week long trips in nice rooms for, like, $1,800 to $2,100. And I was sitting there going, look, if I can pay around a third the cost for a nice room for over 2 weeks, you gotta offer something way better. And I get Disney was like, oh, well, it's an interactive kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I get that. But when you start to theme stuff to that degree, you're kind of losing people. And I think you could get away with that theming if you stretched it out a bit. And then if you also didn't make it kind of like the focus. I had said it way back when, but if you set up like I'm trying to think of how to word it, like a cantina with an animatronic hut and flight sims and a hangar and all this stuff, betting on pod races and all this stuff, you could do a lot. You can make a very interesting thing for people to experience that I think people would come back to anyways. And you probably wouldn't have to charge $6,000. And part of it, yeah, was like 100 rooms. So you're getting, at minimum, if every room was rented by a single person, 100 people. If you're maxing it out, 2 parents, 2 kids, 400 people, yeah, it's not a lot. It's pretty manageable. But at the same time, you gotta have a bigger space. Like, they could have just done a lot more with it, and they didn't. But oh well. Not my money they wasted. I'll admit, if I was a shareholder, I'd be like, hey, so what was with this whole thing? What were you thinking? Because it seems like you just blew a ton of money on an experiment that lasted maybe a year. And rightfully so, I'd be pretty pissed. That's throwing away good money after bad. Oh, that reminds me, I also saw a video of people fighting at Disneyland. I don't know what is with people, man. I swear, post-COVID, people just started losing their minds. That's something I'm curious about now. Will we see, in the future, some analysis that shows some kind of, I don't know, like, social breakdown to a degree? Like, we're not all just going full on the purge, fighting each other in the streets kind of deal. but it does feel like people have... I don't know if it's kind of lost their social graces, or what the exact way to word it would be. People are acting weird. People are acting like something's not right with them, and it feels like it all kind of came to a head during the lockdowns, and then once it ended, everybody kind of went crazy. And not in like a how you act when school finally ends for summer and you run out of the building and you're just like, yes, freedom! 12 days where I don't have to do anything except play video games and maybe go on vacation. It's not that. It's like a very self-centered, other people aren't important, I only care about me and what I want kind of treatment. It's strange, it's kind of gross. It's all around just peculiar. What did that tank just do? It just freaked out, kind of like when you hit your elbow on a desk or something, that tingly funny bone feeling. Like, for that split second, it was just like, blah, 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 and then just flipped back to normal. Strange. Very strange. Okay, nothing fancy for the rewards. We'll get that bonus mission. Loot was exactly what I expected. But that's fine. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.